Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our channel. We are,
Boomers to Gen Z. I'm
yes,
Karen.
and I'm May.
So, what
Today,
we
we are talking about the 1%. And no, we're not talking about the 1% millionaires and billionaires in the world. We're talking about the 1% that you tend to ignore in your day to day life.
talking
So,
about?
stay with us,
We'll be
and
back.
we'll be back.
Okay. So, what is it about this 1%?
So, Karen, since we've just started the new year, we're still in January, we're still at the first month. When I look back at all of the Januaries I've had in the past 5 years,
Okay.
I think of all of the goals that I've set for myself and set myself up for failure.
Oh, okay. That's serious.
Because I think that when we talk about goals, or like even if you were to ask me, May, what is your goal? I'll tell you, oh, Karen, my goal is to buy a nice house in the mountains. It's always something really, really big, and we tend to lose track of the smaller steps or the smaller goals or the small movements that we make, the 1% towards that big house in the mountains.
Mm.
And then when we don't achieve it in the way that we want to, which is normally the snap of our fingers, we then give up on that house. I don't want a house in the mountains anymore.
True.
So it's about how, like, especially now, I think that my generation, we're so caught up with instant gratification.
Yes. Yes.
So if something doesn't instantly make us feel good, or if we do not see an instant result, we don't want it. And I think that that's definitely a problem because now there's so many different expectations. People are setting different goals, but if they're not achieving it, and normally if you were to do something and you achieve it very, very quickly, it's not going to last for a very long time.
Mm.
You put a video out on Instagram or Facebook, suddenly you get thousands of views, but the next video you get 20. And then now you feel like, oh, I can't be a star. It's about staying true and like keeping up with those 1% things that you do on a day to day. You still record videos, you still put in the effort. And instead of thinking like, oh, I only got 20 views on this one, at the end of the month, you can say, well, I created 20 videos. So, are there any times that you have ignored the 1%? And you can be honest.
Okay. I think you're right. It's like when we are younger, we and with the way the world is, the speed that
Mhm.
it's like truly instant gratification is a major issue. I think that with the fact that, oh, I want to buy something, just by the click of button, and then like literally the next day you have your products or whatever it is. um, and but and because I am generally a very impatient person, that makes it even worse.
Okay.
But I've also learned that good things take time.
Okay.
Good things takes time. And so, like last year we talked about, I started the social media, YouTube, and
Mhm.
all that. And I'll be honest, in the beginning, the idea that, oh, if I do for one video a week, and I will get thousands and thousands of viewers and stuff like that. For the longest time, it was nothing, and it only took almost a year before I even hit 1,000 subscribers and all that. So it is the problem is we expect that, if we want something, and yes, if I take action, but the result is not going to be your timing.
Mhm.
The result will come when it decides to come.
Yeah.
It's not according to what we set out to do. So, I like to take this idea about, we all want to lose weight. Everyone talks about losing weight during the year end. What's the resolution? What am I going to do? And we did talk about this,
Yes,
right?
it is my resolution.
Okay, so let's go with that premise. The question is, number one, do you expect to go to the gym for this week and expect a washboard, flat tummy, and lose 20 kilos next week?
No.
No. right? You won't, and it's unreasonable.
Yeah.
So why do we expect anything else with all the other goals that we have?
Yeah. And the thing is that we know how
Yeah,
ridiculous this is,
yeah.
but I can tell you that in the past 5 years, every time I've gone to the gym, I've stuck to it for 2 weeks, maximum three, and I'm like, oh, I lost weight, huh? And then on the third week, gone. Like, I'm not doing it anymore.
So I heard this from a motivational speaker, and he said being successful is being consistent.
Mm.
And that I actually remind myself that on a daily basis, because it is not the one time action that I do that actually will take me to success. It is when I am consistently, even when I'm failing, or when I didn't achieve result, and I still on a daily basis will still do that thing until I arrive my goal. So to make it simple again is, you want to lose weight,
Mhm.
but 2 or 3 weeks is just not gonna hack it. Your body doesn't react that way, right? So that it means every day, whether I like it or not, what do you have to do?
I have to get up and do that 1% and go to the gym or watch my diet, and I have to keep repeating it and be consistent about it.
Correct. And sometimes it could be doing just that one action. So for instance, let's say you're not willing to change your diet just yet.
Okay.
Let's just say.
Love it. Okay. I like where she's
Okay,
going.
let's just say you're not ready to give up your ice cream for the day just right. So, but you are willing to do 1 hour of exercise daily for yourself.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, when you do that and you start saying, "Hey, oh, my body is changing. I seem to have more energy. I seem to have a nice tone, muscle tone, and all that." Very, because you see some form of results, you will actually go, "Oh, I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna just skip ice cream for 3 days a week now because I'm starting to see results." So you're like, "Oh, maybe I'll do that." So then you do that. And then after skipping ice cream, they say, "Oh, maybe I'm gonna just skip ice cream altogether. I just indulge once a week. That's it."
Mm.
And that's where you start making that progress. And then maybe, like, even in finances. Okay, so
Okay.
we talked about May wanting to improve her finances and reducing her Grab orders.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit.
So I have like reduced to a point that I have not ordered any Grab at all. I still use Grab for transport, but no Grab food. The improvements, I don't know, Karen, because so the reason I was always ordering Grab food is because it was instant, it came to me quickly, it was convenient. Now I'm just overusing my air fryer. So I don't know. It's helping with the financial goal, not so much the weight goal.
But if air frying is still a good option.
Air frying luncheon meat sandwiches.
Luncheon meat, okay. So we have to work on the diet plan at some point.
Yeah, but it was really hard in the beginning, but then I honestly saw how much more I was saving a week. It's so crazy. Like in one meal on Grab, if it's an affordable meal, like a local meal, you're at least spending 18 ringgit. And then if you want to get something nicer, you're like, oh, add on this, add on that. And next thing you know, it's like 40 ringgit. And if you're doing that daily, in a week already, you've really spent
Yes, yeah.
like 200 to 250 ringgit.
Exactly. Okay, this is a no-brainer for those of you who smokes, and I used to smoke. Okay, and I can tell you, there's so many things that when that you can that quitting smoking will be so beneficial for you. Number one, obviously, is the health. The minute you stop smoking, think about your lungs, think about your stamina that can improve and all that kind. But how much is a pack of cigarettes
I
these days?
think now it's 17 to 20 ringgit, I think.
Okay, so imagine if you are spending 20 ringgit a day, because if you are a box a day person, yeah, and that is 30 days.
Oh my goodness.
That is the
Six six
20
hundred.
times, yeah, 600 ringgit per month.
That is how much some people spend on renting a room.
Exactly. So think about that. And the fact that you will save on your insurance premium, your health is so much better. Isn't it worth to quit then? Just think about that, guys. If you are any smokers out there, just think, I know it's hard. I've done where, quit cold turkey. It's tough, but you have to think about how much better your quality of life would be if you actually stop smoking. So going back to the 1%, I think for me the hardest challenge is, um, you know, some people even like try for 5 years, 6 years before they see some results. And in my life, I have to say there were occasions where I felt that I gave up too soon, and I felt that it was just a matter of uh, another little bump where I reached the gold mine
Mm.
kind of thing, and I kind of regret that, and so therefore I'm being a little wiser now, where I say, okay, I'm going to persevere and look at how I can keep improving, and I also want to put it out there is that, um, when we so-called fail, it's only a failure if we don't learn from it,
Mm.
right? You
Yes,
agree,
I
right?
agree with that.
So I think that the problem is in my generation, we've been taught that failure is bad.
Yeah.
Failure is unacceptable, and that you should never lose your job, or you should never be retrenched, or you cannot you should never be so big, because you are not even the minute you are big and fat means, oh, you are not there is a social stigma for some reason. Am I right to say that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, she must be lazy, or she's not even have the stamina to take care of
Yeah.
herself, blah blah blah. But it's not true. It's not true, because if you take that failure and say, which I do now more than anything. I find that that's why I love being older, because you learn about yourself and you realize, oh yeah, I gave up too early, or I was too judgmental about certain things. And I find that if I just take that moment and say, okay, what can I learn from this whole experience? So you are young and beautiful. What was the thing that you felt that you failed and you couldn't walk away from it?
I couldn't walk away from it, or I did walk away
Let's say you at that point you couldn't walk away from
from it. My child.
it. Right.
Like, if it's in the sense that if I understand your question correctly, it's like when you feel like you failed and you can't walk away from it, right? You have to stick to it.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, maybe not the child, but that is a good example. You can't walk away from that.
No.
But I guess my marketing company.
Yeah.
So I started out my marketing company in 2018, and then the lockdown hit,
Oh.
and like I nobody wants marketing. Everybody was just shopping during lockdown, right? There was no business trying to be a business,
Mm-hmm.
so much so. If anything, the thing that was booming was like Shopee ads, Lazada ads. These are the things that people are focused on. But then I couldn't give up on it, because marketing is something that I'd already built a reputation for myself with some clients. And it was the only thing I kind of knew how to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed to feed myself, and I wanted to see how far I could go with this. It's something that I've always been passionate about from a kid. I call marketing corporate art. I find it the best way. Like you can influence so many people by changes of colors and fonts and messaging. You can convince people, and you can have them under your control to do absolutely anything you want.
Right.
Um, so it's the one thing I didn't walk away from. Instead, I just adjusted myself to suit the situation. I made my packages cheaper. I made the packages less dense, and then I just sold them to a majority.
Right.
Um, And I'm really happy I stuck with it because now I'm at a phase where the marketing company is opening up doors for me to go into workshops and talent development through marketing. So I'm now able to like teach business development, marketing, branding. So it's actually opened up a whole new avenue that I never could foresee back then.
Wow. See, I mean that is perseverance because you hit a crossroad and it was tough,
Mm.
and it was either persevere or give it up,
Yeah.
right? And exactly. So sometimes, uh, for me as well, there have been times where I definitely I have given up maybe a tad too soon, and I feel on hindsight now that if I had persevered,
Mhm.
um, yeah, things could have changed different been different. But so now I'm taking that experience and saying now whatever I'm doing right now, which is the social media and building this community, even if there are times where comments were not always nice, or when the challenge of getting a video out because we are not professionals
Yeah.
and we are learning along the way, that I must persevere because and that's why it is important to find what you absolutely love to do, your ikigai,
Yeah.
your ikigai, your passion, because it is the only thing that you will keep fighting for is your why, your reasoning
Mm.
to keep showing up for whatever it is. So I mean, I know you have Zach, and I am sure Zach is your ikigai.
Yes. Yes. It's like a constant. And it's a constant that reminds you that not to give up and actually keep persevering, because not only is he a big reason to keep going, but it also comes down to what do I want to teach,
Yeah,
what values do I want him to have. I don't want him to just throw in the towel when things get hard. I want him to be able to adjust, maybe re-strategize, but never give up.
yeah, exactly.
So I have to lead by example. If not, I'm gonna become bitter, and every time he does something wrong, I'll be like, just give up. No need to do.
Exactly right.
It
So
changes.
yeah, I don't you think that May is she made mistakes when she was younger, but she has grown to be such a amazing person. Really,
Thank you.
and maybe that's your learning
Yeah,
from your past,
yeah, yeah.
and that you now realize that this is um you don't want you or because of your mistakes from your past, you know what you don't want, and therefore you also now know
What
what
I
you
want.
want,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. And moving forward, we hope that all of you, our listeners, is take a little advice that I have, which is, I have a very bizarre, dysfunctional relationship with my parents. Being traditional, we are brought up to just be very filial and take care of them and things like that. Um, but if you talk about communication, if you talk about affection and emotion, none of that exists.
Mm.
But I took that learning that I had from my childhood to make myself a better mother for my children. And by no means am I a perfect mother, but it's a work in progress. And I strive, as long as I'm mentally sound, to actually be a better mother for my children so that I am not doing what my parents have done to me. Yeah. And I think that is something that as human being, it's like until we die we must keep evolving, we must
Yes.
keep learning, and at any age. So I hope that those who are listening to us right now, those who are in your 20s and trying to find your path,
Mhm.
what would you advise them?
I think that there's just leading on from what Karen said, but like I just want you to keep a quote, and actually for all listeners, not just for my generation. So, in order for humans to have become human, we became human through evolution. And if you think about it, once you stop evolving, you're gonna stop being human, and it's the actual core essence of what we are. We evolve to our surroundings. We evolve through time. We adjust to new things introduced to us in the market. We adjust to our new environments. Biologically, we are also still changing. So keep allowing yourself to learn. Do not be bitter. Do not be petty. Do not hold a grudge.
Yeah, that's very wise. That is
Um,
very
do
wise.
not self victimize. Think of it in a way where, like, okay, this was painful. I don't want it. I don't like it. And don't inflict that. And even if you don't get it right straight away, because of course we're humans, right? There's a sense of conditioning. I'm sure, like, even though you had that relationship with your parents,
Mm.
like, sometimes that you catch yourself doing something and you're like, oh my god, this is so much like my mom.
Yes.
I do that too, and it would be the thing about my mom that perhaps I don't really like. So again, like, back to like the whole 1%, like, even if you can't do it as a whole and change overnight, the fact that you realized it, that like awareness, that is the
That
1%.
is your 1%, and
And hold
and
on
it's
to it.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And it is a work in progress. Like anything in life, anything good, anything worth its value takes time, takes perseverance, and I hope that you will take that in mind. And I hope that this has been enlightening to all of you, and that most of all, please, be open to learning and
Mhm.
changing. I'll see
So
you
see you
next
next week.
week. Bye.
Bye.